Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for the second webinar on international business law. In this webinar series, we will present the opportunity and challenge of doing business with Spain, Argentina, Turkey, and India. We will continue this webinar series with other countries in the future. In general, international business law is a body of legal rules, convention, treaties, domestic legislations, and commercial customs which govern international business transactions. For any international transactions, we should consider some main elements and clauses. First of all, we should take a look at the applicability of the United Nations Convention for the International Sale of Goods, CISG. Still, if you are doing business with the United States, the vast majority of companies in the US use commercial terms identified under the US Uniform Commercial Code, UCC, which is different from CISG. Secondly, we should review the use of newest version of Incoterms. The internationally recognized Incoterms helps transaction and avoid costly mistake. The purpose of Incoterms is to clarify the task, cost, risk for buyers and sellers in international trade. In other words, Incoterms clarify responsibilities of parties on international sales transaction. Based on my experience in international business law, if you are a lawyer involving international transaction, especially in the international contract law, you should consider more than 100 elements and clauses in any international transaction. Every international transaction is actually a contract between the seller and buyer. In the international contract, I have prepared a checklist for preparing international contract law. I will share you today some of them in this webinar. At first, in any international transaction, you should define the parties of the contract. You should define the legal name of the parties, legal address as mentioned on the documentation, identification of the parties with the legal document, legal authority for signature. When a party is company, you must insert the following information, such as legal name, legal form, it's limited or incorporated, and legal address, and legal authority, the person that has authorization to sign the agreement. So second, you should explain the scope of contract also. Description of goods, service, license materials, if you have a license materials, exclusivity right and license, payment method and mode of payment. That gonna be very important in any transaction. So for example, time of delivery, time of place and performance, return of goods if you want to return the goods, inspection of goods by the buyer, inspection and acceptance, acceptance period, and acceptance criteria, obligation to repair or replace, time or replacement, as you know, failure to reject, deemed acceptance in international contract. Then you should address contract price and payment terms, payment right and obligation, prices, fees and expenses, repair amount if you want to repair the goods, for example, right to receive or refund a credit, currency payment schedule, obligation to pay undisputed amount, and the late payment, or especially in this time, electronic payment. Regarding the duty of confidentiality, definition of confidentiality and information should be mentioned in the international contract. Specific types such as source code, financial information, business practice, and the oral disclosure must be reduced to written form. So right to disclose to employees and agents should be clarified in international contract. Employees and agents must be subject to written non-disclosure obligation, a legal requirement to disclose, or the obligation to provide notice, and the opportunity to protect also other issue in this category. Also, you should state representation, warranties, and remedies. In this part, who has a right to enter into the agreement, compliance with applicable law, regulation, no conflict, specific warranties against defects, free from defects in design, manufacturing, workmanship, warranty period, obligation to provide notification of any defect for non-conformity prior to the end of warranty period of remedies. So repair or replace also, and refine or credit also is important in this category. Do not forget to consider damage and compensation in case of breach of contract. Breach of contract, warranties, negligence, misconduct, or misrepresentation are crucial in international contract. Retention of title or an intellectual property is another issue you should include in your contract. The retention of the title clause is important in international trade. It provides that seller retain ownership of the goods until the total purchase price is paid, and also that the seller may reclaim the goods if price is not paid. Power and authority or right to grant and license, ownership, right to grant, convey title, good title, and documentation, ownership or licensed product, for example, definition of work product, ownership of work product or deliverable, ownership of pre-existing materials, technology, content, and product also need to be considered in any international transaction. Explain also the term and termination, such as term of agreement, renewal term, termination for convenience, termination for breach, specific events of the breach, termination for bankruptcy, for example, or in termination for change in control, effect of termination on obligation or right upon termination, also important in any international contract. Limitation of liability is another element. You should talk about it, such as no indirect or consequential damages, lost profits, revenue, goodwill, exception for limitation of liability should be considered in the international contract. Insurance requirement in an important thing to consider, minimum policy amount, for example, certificates of insurance, adding a party as additional insured because some company prefer to have third party insured, or quality of insurance also should be considered. Always have a solution in terms of disagreement. So put the dispute resolution in your contract. The parties should have the alternative between arbitration and legislation. In the event the party have option for arbitration, they should specify the place of arbitration and the language, for example. If the party have option for litigation as the required mode of dispute resolution, the party should designate the national or international court, because some countries prefer to have third country as a court, for example, Commercial Court of Paris or Commercial Court of London as a litigation or arbitration center. So addressing force majeure clause would protect your client even in unexpected situation, such as ongoing situation from arising from COVID-19. According to the force majeure clause, a party will not be liable for any failure or delay in the performance of the agreement for the period that such failure or delay is beyond the reasonable control of the party. And normally in international business law, they define what does meaning of reasonable control of the party. So regarding the place and date of signature, usually contracts are signed by both parties on the same date and place, but as you know, in international contract, due to physical distance, it is common that each of the party sign in different dates and location. There are more and more issues of doing business internationally, which should be discussed in the future opportunity. But today, that the reason why we have invited our lawyers in Spain, Argentina, Turkey, and India to tell us more about business challenge and opportunities in their countries. So I appreciate your attention, and I would like to invite Mr. Carlos Uriarte Sánchez, our lawyer in Spain, to talk about business opportunity and challenges in Spain. Mr. Carlos.
Yes. First of all, well, we are now here in Spain at 4 p.m. It means that good morning to the people from Canada and good evening to the people of India. We are in the middle among America and Asia. And thank you very much, of course, for the invitation to Cifile. For me, it's a great honor to be one of the lawyers in Cifile and be part of the Cifile lawyers family. I'm going to talk about Spain, which is my country, where I'm a professor of law and also a lawyer. And the first idea would be why investing in Spain is a good option. Because investors recognize Spain as one of the most interesting markets in Southern Europe and continue to place their trust in spite of the pandemic, in spite of the previous economical crisis, in spite of everything. Investors continue to recognize Spain as a safe country with rule of law and security to investments. Of course, we are a part of the European Union, and then also the surrounding countries, they keep also rule of law and investment security. Then both national and international countries, they recognize Spain as a good place for investments. But where is the investment opportunities and why? Investors recognize Spain as one of the most interesting markets in Southern Europe and continue to place their trust, both national and international. Where is the investment opportunities and why? To answer this question, we must know our strengths and growing economy. For example, I'm going to talk a little bit about our economy, our economic context, and some data from Spain before the pandemic. Our GDP grew at a rate of 4%, 500,000 new jobs, 90 points less risk premium, low interest rates, reduced financing cost, Where is the opportunity today and why? In this context of expansion, new investment opportunities are created. In the spate of the pandemic, we must keep optimism and keep optimistic everywhere. And therefore, it's advisable to follow them closely when they think about investing in the future. Right now, the biggest challenge for the investor is to find the availability of the product that fits their investment strategy, especially in the case of core investors. Below, we set out a number of sectors that show potential for investments in Spain. For example, the retail sector. The retail sector, shopping malls and high street premises, will continue to benefit from the increase in household consumptions. While in Europe, the development of new shopping centers has been slowed down by the great weight of e-commerce in our country, in which it's not yet as developed, and in which there is shopping experience more linked to leisure, there is still enough demand to make these assets attractive to the investors. Because in Spain, go shopping, it's also part of leisure and enjoy also private life with families, with friends. And then in this regard, I mean, the malls, they have restaurants, they have different opportunities also to enjoy with family, with friends. And also is part of our character, no? It's not just to go shopping like in other countries, it's go shopping, but also enjoy time with relatives, with friends, and so on. Then for this issue, of course, we use also e-commerce, but face-to-face contacts and personal contacts are still very important in our mentality. Then foreign investment has been in recent decades a determining factor for the economic development of our country. Italy, the United States, France, and Germany are the main countries that bet on ours. Its contribution has a very significant impact since, among other factors, for example, it generates employment and wealth in general terms, it helps the internationalization of our economy, it collaborates very actively in the processes of research, development, and innovation, and it has a demonstration effect that helps us to consolidate our España Global trademark. Another sector is the Icp sector. According to the so-called Global Spain or España Global or the so-called Spain Marca España, our country is attractive to invest in this sector of a strong growth in recent years. According to its data, this sector accounts for 5.7% of the gross value added to our GDP, employs more than 440,000 people, and invoices more than 1 million of euros, 1,000 millions of euros. In Spain, we have enjoyed a rising tourism with 82.7 million visitors. It was the year before the pandemic, according to official statistics of 2018. But now we are around 80 million visitors, 85 million visitors a year. Of course, these figures are before the pandemic. We have now decreased the numbers more or less to the half, but now summer season is going to come. Then we must keep also optimism. Attractive real estate opportunities, a thriving business sector, and a second tourist destination in the world are more than enough reasons to invest in Spain. I mean, we have a lot of people who invest in Spain in real estate, especially from Russia, for example, or Germans and British they have second residencies in Spain, and they live, for example, when they are pensioners, 6 months in Spain, 6 months, the half of the year in Germany or in United Kingdom, and I can give you many examples of that. Most of the investments will go to purchase and rehabilitation of existing buildings, especially in those regions where the development of new establishments has been limited and will be particularly active in Madrid, Barcelona, Málaga, and Palma de Mallorca. Another third sector would be the residential sector. This is also another important sector. If the expected economic expectations are met, the residential sector will consolidate its growth, although at a more moderate pace. During previous years, a volume of sales close to 570,000 transactions were reached at the end of the year. Due to the need for a supply that meets current demand, developers will continue to launch new residential projects, especially in municipalities close to the large cities, as this is where they know they have the guaranteed return. Real estate is undoubtedly one of the sectors to which the investors must pay greater attention. With the stocks at pre-global financial crisis level, the expectation is that they will continue to grow. Another profitable option for investments are, for example, health sector, including the medical sector, biotechnology, pharmacy, etc. Also following the data from Marca Spain, for example, the biotechnology sector concentrates more than 3,000 companies, employs 202,250 workers, and invoices more than 53,152 million euros. Another sector would be the aeronautics sector. Also following data from Marca Spain, the Spanish aeronautical industry is the 5th in Europe in terms of turnover and employs more than 33,000 workers. Especially important is the sector, very high percentage for dedication to research and development. Another sector would be the automotive and component sectors. This is already a classic sector in Spain for decades. There are a good number of plants of recognized world prestige where vehicles and their components are manufactured. Not in vain, it represents 10% of the Spanish GDP. And brands such as General Motors, for example, in Valencia, they have an industry to produce cars, or Volkswagen, or Renault, or Citroën, among others, trust our factories. However, while it's a sector that deserves to be named, it's a major sector, but always with possibilities to invest. Another sector that I could mention is the construction sector for second residential development. For example, in the coast, or in Canary Islands, or in Alicante, in the Costa del Sol, in Marbella, Málaga, in Andalusia, Catalonia, you can still at the beaches find places to build second residential places. Although it may seem paradoxical for foreign investment, our country is an excellent option to invest in brick. With the drop suffered by real estate, both in coastal and island areas, the sector has become very attractive to residents of other countries who are attracted, in addition to the climate, the coast, and the gastronomy, by these prices so competitive in relation to their purchasing power. I mean, in Spain, it's more or less like Florida in the United States, or California, I mean, in Europe. But of course, it's also an opportunity not only just for other European countries, but also for other places of the world. Another sector would be the fashion sector. Fashion sector has a large flagships such as Inditex Group, which is Zara, or Mango, or the important footwear sector. Its economic weight in the Spanish GDP is close to 3%, occupies more than 4% of the population, and reaches almost 10% of the Spanish exports. In addition, this major sector is experiencing a new honeymoon with e-commerce, with double-digit sales growth that exceeds 50 and 60 in recent years. And especially now in the time of the pandemic, Inditex Group, Mango, Zara has increased a lot the commerce sales. E-commerce is also growing in Spain. Then why invest in Spain? Motives and incentives. Well, first of all, Spain, despite the ups and downs of the past decade economic crisis, remains a competitive country with growth potential. Its fantastic climate is an opportunity in itself for some sectors, as we have seen, and so is its magnificent geostrategic location, which gives quick access to Europe, North Africa, and can make a bridge to Latin America. It's depending where you are situated. If you are situated in Asia, it's a bridge to Latin America. If you are situated, for example, in Latin America or in North America, it's a bridge to Europe and a bridge to North Africa. Its domestic market, composed of 47 million consumers, expands to 68 million more international tourists who every year visit Spain. In addition, our country has a great network of communications and infrastructures. Secondly, another important factor is the relative legal, social, and economic stability. Unlike other latitudes, no revolts or radical regulatory changes or major economic collapses are expected in Spain. That must also encourage foreign investments. I mean, also we live under the umbrella of the European Union, then rule of law must be fulfilled. I mean, and not changes, no big changes. They can be even implemented by politicians in economics, because we must follow also the European Union guidelines for investments, for debt, for economical decisions as well. Because we share also the euro as a common currency, and in a monetary and economical policy, we must also to keep some basic and common standards with the rest of the European Union countries. Thirdly, likewise, and although there is a long way to go, Spain is trying to change its production model towards activities with greater added value through the promotion of international innovation and research and development. Fourthly, and finally, it should also be noted that foreign investment receives institutional aid with support from IFEX. IFEX is the Institute for Exports, Trading and Exports. I mean, and Spain Export and Investment belongs to the Economic and Commerce Ministry in Spain. And then among other organizations in Spain, gives also incentives and support for investments, and tax incentives associated with such investments, as well as accompanied for the lending in our country in the event that they are foreign companies that want to set up subsidiaries in our country. I mean, they can also follow you and help you. They have a web page with all the information and support that they can, and all the incentives in terms of taxes, in terms of to make investments here in Spain. Then I'm going to use one sentence famous of Neil Armstrong. Your best quote that reflects your approach. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And to final with my presentation, I'm a lawyer of Cifile, but I'm also in the cluster of Lupicinio. I'm not working alone, and I'm a partner of Lupicinio in Spain, and we cooperate through me with Lupicinio and with Cifile. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about our services. What legal services you can provide for foreign people willing business with your country? Well, in Lupicinio, we are able to offer advice in legal specializations required in a wide range of fields of activity through Lupicinio International Law Firm, a transversal and multidisciplinary Spain law firm specialized in providing legal advice on highly complex matters, both local and global, where I work as of counsel. See below some examples. For example, in procedure of arbitration, compliance with regulations, administrative, regulatory, and sanctioning matters, banking and stock markets, bankruptcy and restructuring, bank litigation and debt collection, real estate and urban planning, labor law, commercial and civil law, international business and planning. We have offices in Cuba, in La Habana. We have also office in Moscow. We have also office in Argelia and office in Emirates, in Abu Dhabi, and several offices in Spain. And we propose comprehensive seamless solutions tailored to the client's business objectives through a multidisciplinary team of lawyers with extensive experience in bank recovery and litigation procedures. We are also leaders in project management, coordinating of the most complex operations in multidisciplinary and multi-jurisdictional teams. And thank you very much for your attention. And merci beaucoup pour votre attention. Parce que au Canada, on parle aussi le français.
On parle français aussi.
Oui, oui, oui.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Gracias.
Professor, for your excellent presentation and your legal and economic also information regarding doing business with Spain. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Vahit Bıçak, a lawyer in Turkey, to tell us more about business opportunities and challenges in Turkey. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to say all participants hello from Turkey, and let me talk about Turkish law and opportunities and risk in doing business with Turkey. Turkey is a dynamic and growing 20 economy that links East and West in a unique way. In addition to being one of the most largest economies, Turkey also supports international investors' growth via a business-friendly agenda and through access to a large domestic market and neighboring international markets. Turkey's location at the crossroads of Europe and Central Asia and the Middle East provides easy access to the European, Middle Eastern, North African, Central Asian, and Gulf markets. These markets comprise more than 1.5 billion people and account for a total of 24 trillion US dollar of GDP. More than half of the world's trade takes place within a 4-hour light radius of Turkey. A key reason why multinational companies may choose Turkey as a strategic regional hub for their business operations. At the crossroad of Europe and Asia, Turkey's geography has much to offer to investors. Turkey is an essential transport corridor, offering essential access to global trade routes by air, land, and sea. Turkey had a population of 84 million people with a median age of 32. Therefore, in contrast to Europe, Turkey's population is young and continuing to grow. The Turkish legal system is based on codified civil law system. Under Turkish law, courts are either categorized as judicial courts or administrative courts. Within these two categories, subcategories also exist. For instance, the judicial court, which constitute the broadest part of the Turkish judicial system, are subdivided into two branches, consisting of civil courts and the criminal courts, whereas the administrative courts are subdivided into administrative courts and tax courts. As a candidate country for accession to the European Union, Turkey is harmonizing its legislation with the European Union legislation. To that end, Turkey has, among others, introduced the competition law and the consumer protection law and repealed its civil code, code of obligation, and commercial code, and replaced them with the new Turkish civil code, the new code of obligations, and the new Turkish commercial code. International treaties, the foreign direct investment law, and the regulation on the implementation of the FDI law are the main legal source governing foreign direct investment in Turkey. Any market entry strategy for Turkey should begin with throughout understanding of the cost and benefits to doing business in Turkey. One of the most successful proven ways to access the Turkish market quickly is to work with an experienced local lawyers or law firms. The local legal support can provide knowledge of the local regulatory framework, language assistance, and valuable business contacts. Bıçak law firm could provide foreign companies with on the ground of intelligent and practical advice on Turkish market to help foreigner businessmen make better, more timely, and cost-effective decisions. We can help foreign companies successfully navigate the complexities of the Turkish market, whether they are looking to export, establish their own company in Turkey, tackle a market access issues, or pursue a joint venture or strategic alliance, participate in Turkey value chain, seek transfer of technology, and research and development partnerships. Low operation cost is one of the advantages of doing business in Turkey. Skilled workforce with cost advantage, the stating salaries and labor is relatively low. The cost for the supplier is relatively low as well, although the quality of the goods and the services is high. The investment intensive system, foreign investors who obtain the investment intensive certificate are granted to the intensive as follows: VAT and custom duty exceptions, tax reductions, social security premium support, interest rate support, land allocation, VAT refund, income tax, withholding support. So you see from the table that intensives are divided into 4 categories. So one intensive is for general investment in intensives, and they are custom duty exception, VAT exception, and regional investment intensive, much more extended from the basic one. And another one, strategic investment incentives. And the 4th one, project-based incentives, investment in incentives. So, as you see on the table, there is a cash support, VAT exception, custom duty exception, corporate tax reduction, social security premium support, income tax, withholding support, qualified personnel support, energy support, interest rate support, capital contribution support, land allocation, infrastructure support, purchasing guarantee, facilitation of permit, license, etc., and VAT refund. So Turkish citizenship is also given as a support for doing business in Turkey. Foreign investors can obtain Turkish citizenship by establishing a business in Turkey. Turkish citizenship rights has been recognized to the foreign nationals who make investment more than a certain amount and create employment or keep the deposit. So, if a foreign investor make capital investment of at least $500,000 US or create at least 50% employment or purchase immovable property worth of $250,000 US or keep deposit at least $500,000 US in the bank operating in Turkey for a minimum of 3 years, or purchase government debt securities of at least $500,000 US and kept for 3 years, they can acquire Turkish citizenship. So foreign investors may benefit from domestic mediation and arbitration or international mediation or arbitration to the extent there is an mediation and arbitration clause in their investment agreement or business contracts. So we strongly recommend international business people to put this mediation and arbitration clause on their contract. And business opportunities in Turkey. Turkey's geographic position marks it an important energy and logistic corridor links to Europe with the Middle East and Caucasus and Central Asia. Turkey is considered a commercial hub of the region, and the foreign companies should consider using Turkish partners to access business opportunities throughout Central Asia, the Caucasus, the Middle East, and even Africa. Turkish partners know these regions' markets well. Turkey's slow but continued movement towards membership in the European Union has created momentum to adopt European business regulations and standards in Turkey. Foreign firms are pursuing energy, aerospace, defense, and health care projects throughout Turkey. And travel and tourism are one of the most dynamic industries in Turkey. Textiles and clothing is one of the most important industries of the Turkish economy and the country's foreign trade. Turkish energy and utilities sector is attracting significant interest from foreign investors. Since transportation and logistics is one of the main pillars of both national and international trade, the Turkish government is making ongoing investments to create a new infrastructure. The Turkish healthcare sector offers great opportunities for the private sector. And what are the business challenges in Turkey? Turkey is a complex and challenging market requiring adaptability and persistence. Instances of inconsistent or contradictory policies may be faced. Complex and at present times turbulent politics, instability in neighboring countries, a complex bureaucracy, regulation and documentation requirements, heavy terms and conditions in government contracts, and lack of transparency in tenders and other procurement decisions, and a weakened judicial system, time-consuming, unpredictable judiciary, and legal and regulatory framework. Market access barrier across a range of sectors. Weakening currency, the Turkish lira has continued to slide against the foreign currencies sharply nowadays, and decrease in consumer demands, fluctuating unemployment, increase in protectionist and populist measures, including import tariffs and localization efforts. Turkey remains committed to joining the European Union. However, this process has been slow and cumbersome. Foreign firms are encouraged to work closely with the expert lawyers to vet potential projects, find qualified partners, and conduct due diligence. So what service we can provide for foreign people willing business with Turkey? Bıçak Law Firm has assisted hundreds of small, medium and large sized firms exporting to or importing from and expanding in the Turkish market. To map out the opportunities and better understand the challenges of doing business in Turkey, foreign firms, both large and small, are encouraged to engage with Bıçak Law Firm in Turkey for market information, updates on regulatory issues, major projects, and business developments. We encourage business people to meet with our multilingual, sectoral focused business development legal teams for individualized market consultations. Careful planning and patience are the keys to success in Turkey, and Bıçak Law Firm is to help foreign business navigate the Turkish business environment. Bıçak Law Firm provides high caliber legal consultancy, mediation, arbitration, litigation, and training services to domestic, regional, and global companies, organizations, governments, NGOs, and individuals. And the digital world allows us to adopt in ways that make geographical barriers almost non-existent for clients who span different continents and time zones. We work remotely with the majority of our clients, which provides both sides greater flexibility and save time and cost of travel expenses. We understand government bureaucracies, how and with whom to work throughout the process, as well as how and when the strong advocate our client's position. We represent clients from a broad range of sections of industries such as healthcare, financial services, government contractors, public utilities, automobile and petroleum companies, airlines, high technology and e-commerce, life science, biotech, media, telecommunication, retail, and real estate. We provide information on variety of legal topics that foreign investors take to consideration during the investment process, such as protection of foreign investment, business structures under Turkish law, labor law, property law, access to finance and insurance, environmental law, competition law, public procurement law regime, and protection of personal data. Foreign companies who want to invest in Turkey or establish a new business in Turkey to enter into a deal with Turkish parties always need to know about their counterparty and their economic background and their legal basis and whole company's validity. Our lawyers are prepared to help them through launching a really strong due diligence and prepare a comprehensive report in this regard. And it is notable that we have been cooperating with some of the leading companies in the world in this field. Due diligence investigations conducted by our team help the clients to mitigate risk, make the better, well-informed decisions, and take clients' business to the next level from starting, growing to selling the company. Clients let us empower their business to success. So companies can minimize.
Your time is finished. Can you conclude your presentation, please? Because I thought we have two more representations. So if it's possible for you to conclude.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding. I am concluding with a minute or in a second minute. Some of the services we provide: anti-corruption, antitrust, money laundering, conflict of interest, governmental relationship, data protection, environment, workplace health, human rights, etc. And we offer representation in negotiation and transformation, company registration, buying a property in Turkey as a foreigner, obtaining Turkish citizenship by investment, identity verification services, international apostille services. So as a conclusion, law is a minefield, no matter where you go. Opening a business in a new country comes with its own set of unique challenges, from cultural differences to compliance issues and everything in between. So international trade and foreign investment are highly complex, and the laws about the trade, tax, currency conversion, and the contract vary from country to country. So one should hire an attorney or law firm who specializes in international business and ensure that all of the necessary regulation for imports, exports, and investment in Turkey are followed. One may also need help navigating local fillings and paperwork requiremements to seek our attorneys who specialize in international and domestic business law in Turkey. So for more information, please do not hesitate to visit our website Thank you for listening. If you have any question, I am ready to answer.
Thank you so much, Professor Bıçak, for your excellent presentation. That was a perfect presentation of Turkey's legal system, especially for immigration to Turkey. That was very good point. So I really appreciate it. Now I would like to invite Dr. Victoria Renso, our lawyer in Argentina, to tell us more about business opportunities and challenges in Argentina. Dr. Victoria.
Well, hello everyone. It is so nice to be in this webinar. Thank you very much, Dr. Abbas and Cifile, for the invitation. Well, I'm going to talk about the support programs for international business in Argentina. So first, it is important to mention that Argentina has signed multiple bilateral investment treaties and has also a special law that regulates and protects foreign investors, granting them the same rights and obligations as national investors, provided that they invest capital in our country with the purpose of promoting economic activities or the expansion or improvement of the existing ones. Likewise, as a member of Mercosur, Argentina is also part of multilateral international agreements, the most important being the agreement between Mercosur and the European Union that was signed 2 years ago. There are also some projects financed by the United Nations Development Program and the Inter-American Development Bank to assist local companies in their international insertion, promote foreign trades, and attract investments. At the local level, the different provinces of the country provide support to investors through their investment agencies and promote international business through tax incentives and credit lines, depending on the activity and the region where it is located. To mention a few, we have Uriarte, Jujuy, in the north of the country, the province of Jujuy. Then to the west of the country, we have Mendoza Invest, in the province of Mendoza. Also to the south, we have Adi Neuquén in the province of Neuquén. And to the east of the country, we have Invest BA in the city of Buenos Aires, capital of Argentine Republic. At this point, Buenos Aires city deserves a special mention for its foreign direct investment strategy, since it has managed to position itself as the best city in Latin America and one of the 3 best cities in the world, ranking behind New York and Moscow, according to the latest edition of the Global Cities of the Future ranking, published by the Financial Times. This strategy of Buenos Aires city is related to the promotion of investment programs such as economic districts, which is a tax incentive regime in force until the year 2036, and with local tax exemptions of up to 60% in areas such as technology, audiovisual, design, arts, and sports. Likewise, there are some exemptions from local taxes and important tax credits for the construction of new hotels and remodeling and expansion of the existing ones. There are 2 other programs. One is the World Towards Buenos Aires, which seeks to attract investments by promoting the establishment of new companies, the growth of the already established companies, and the internationalization of local projects and the articulation of public-private projects in multiple sectors. And the second one is Buenos Aires to the World, which seeks to export the city's talent and includes a training stage for the exporting community and a linking stage so that small and medium-sized enterprises and entrepreneurs enter international markets, either to seek financing or partners for their business. In addition, Invest BA offers the Global Bridge platform, which is a free virtual tool that gathers in one place the services that entrepreneurs and businessmen in the city of Buenos Aires need for their internalization of their business and for the investment process, and to connect with them with possible partners. Finally, InvestBA has a specialized team that provides global advice and accompanies the investors throughout all the process, facilitating work meetings with investment executives or workshops with government officials, and access to a large network of partners. Now, talking about opportunities of investing in Argentina, it has to do with a very wide investment offer due to the great extension of its territory, the multiplicity of climates, and the important variety of natural resources, plus the beautiful landscapes that we have, which allows Argentina to have a highly diversified economy and the possibility of offering an investment markets for many sectors. The largest opportunities are found in the mining sector, mainly in the north of the country, where there is an interesting lithium investment proposal in Salinas Grandes in Jujuy province, in addition to other minerals such as gold, for example. And also the energy sectors, among which the most important is the development of the Vaca Muerta shale oil and gas reserves in Neuquén province, in the south of the country. Also existing rich and explored areas, mining areas. Another great investment opportunity lies in renewable energies, among which stand out photovoltaic solar energy in Jujuy province also, in the north, being the Cauchari Solar Park, one of the largest in Latin America. While in the south of the country, there are the wine farms with the greatest potential in the world due to the speed of the wines. And one of the largest is the Madryn in Chubut province. There are also many possibilities to invest in hydro and maritime energy, taking into account the great extension of the rivers and the Argentine Sea on the east coast. And also biomass, biogas, and organic fuels are beginning to be developed. Other sectors with great potential are agribusiness, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, fishing, and the food and wine industry. On the other hand, Buenos Aires City has managed to become a very important investment square, finding the best opportunities in knowledge economy, creative and cultural industry, real estate, tourism, and one of the most important within the city's exports are the services in general, but especially IT, businesses, and financial services. It is also interesting to mention that there are 5 local unicorns in the city. Mercado Libre is the most known around the world. And finally, qualified human capital is another great resource that Argentina has, both to export and to take advantage of if invested here. Since local talent is recognized throughout the world and has placed the city of Buenos Aires among the best in Latin America, which generates a great competitive advantage for those who do business in US dollars, considering the low cost of labor due to the devaluation of Argentine peso. Furthermore, Buenos Aires City has a strategic location to do business since its time zone is aligned with the United States. It's the first city of congresses and conventions in America. And according to the economists, it is a great city to live in because of its academic ecosystem, a great offer of students' residence, its cultural compatibility and developments, as there are almost 300 theaters and other attractions such as more than 1,000 parks, hundreds of hotels, and thousands of restaurants, among which is the best in Latin America, Don Julio. Now, moving on to the challenges of doing international business with Argentina, it is necessary to consider that the serious economic crisis that is going through which was deeply aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic. So all sectors are currently badly damaged. And undoubtedly, one of the great challenges for those who wish to invest in our country will be to be able to detect the specific difficulties of the sector that was chosen to invest and to implement efficient measures for its fast recovery so that it can be profitable in the short term. On the other hand, although Argentina has huge potential in terms of renewable energies, it should be taken into account that the sector is not yet highly developed. So those interested must assume the investment risks, since being in the initial stage involves having to wait a long time to reap the fruits. In this sense, logistics might be a problem too, due to the infrastructure deficit that Argentina has, because of the lack of roads, railways, ports, and airports. But this may also imply an opportunity to invest in this area. Finally, Argentina is a country that still has an archaic system with administrative obstacles that slow down all the processes. Anyway, some of them have been streamlined in recent years. For example, we have implemented a national electronic public purchase system, which is a replica of the system that has been successfully used for many years in the city of Buenos Aires, and that has greatly facilitated both local and foreign bidders' participation. However, we still have a lot to improve, and this could be a challenge for investors that are used to operating under other parameters and are not used to dealing with bureaucracy. Regarding the services I provide, well, I am a partner in a legal and accounting firm localized in Buenos Aires City and specialized in different areas of local private law. And in recent years, we have also leaned towards international private law. So we contemplate legal and tax advice so that companies can establish their business and also have assistance during their growth. The services include the procedures for the constitution of a company here in Argentina, the drafting of corporate instruments, the presentation of legal and accounting documentation, and a specific commercial advice for the development of the company according to the chosen area to invest. To this end, we also work as a team with custom brokers who provide assistance in custom operations and the logistics and custody service. Likewise, we manage residency procedures for those people who decide to settle in the country or who visit it temporarily to make investments or business or tourism maybe too. So to conclude, Argentina has huge potential and a wide variety of markets for both investment and export, since it is a country with many natural resources and great talents, and investment costs can be very low for those who operate with US dollars. Furthermore, some attractive sectors to invest, such as mining and energy, including renewable energies, are the least developed, so there is so much to grow in that areas. Beyond the challenges and difficulties that Argentina is currently going through some unsuccessful policies, there are great opportunities in economic terms, and investors have legal protection both at national level through legislation and international treaties, and at the local level with different incentives and support programs offered by the province and mainly the city of Buenos Aires. In fact, Buenos Aires City has been chosen in the world rankings as one of the best places to invest because its policies are really focused on promoting investments through very interesting benefits and proposals. So to all investors, we welcome you with open arms.
Thank you so much, Dr. Victoria, for your excellent presentation and discussion for how doing business with Argentina in Latin America. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite my friend, Mr. Gurdeep Singh, a lawyer in India, to discuss more about business opportunities and challenges in India.
Thank you, Dr. Abbas. Greetings to everyone from India. And I am extremely thankful to Cifile for giving me an opportunity to talk about, international trade and business opportunities in India. And can I have my PowerPoint presentation? Yes, yes. Very first point, like India, has a great population, second biggest population in the world, 1.38 billion, like only after China. So India is a huge, massive market. I think this statement itself will show how great, the Indian market is for the foreign investors. So first I will talk about support programs. Like international trade accounts for 54% of India's GDP. It is the 9th largest commercial importer in the world. Now I'm talking about below is the list of potential growth sector in India. First is manufacturing, second is banking, third is information technology, fourth is real estate, fifth pharmaceutical, sixth petroleum products, seventh retail industries, eighth tourism services. India's economic growth through India's central government recent reforms such as GST, goods and services tax, land acquisition, smart cities, digital India, make in India, the country has seen a positive economic growth. Today, India is a fast growing global economy. In the next 8 years, India is expected to experience an average annual growth rate of 7.2% according to the recent Harvard study. I'm not talking about Indian point of view. I'm talking about Harvard study. India has a population of 1.38 billion, second largest in the world, and India is a huge market for foreign business and trade. International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, and Indian Chamber of Commerce are in sync with each other and support various programs on regular basis to encourage international business and trade in India. Now, I want to be very crisp and short because import-export business opportunities in India. India has created special economic zones which no other country in the world has done. For import-export business opportunities in India, special economic zone is an area in which the business and trade laws are different from the rest of the country. They have been specifically created to support and encourage foreign companies to do trade and business with India without any legal and administrative foundations. Presently, there are 8 special economic zones in India as follows. First, Santa Cruz in Maharashtra. Second, Cochin is Kerala. Third, Kandla in Gujarat. Fourth, Surat in Gujarat. Fifth, Chennai in Tamil Nadu. Sixth, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. Seventh, Falta in West Bengal. Eighth is Noida in Uttar Pradesh. In special economic zone, the laws of India are completely relaxed for the foreign trade and business of establishing manufacturing units for the foreigners. Foreigners individually also and foreign companies also. Now, what are the challenges? There are 3 main challenges in India. Corruption is a main challenge in India. A lot of corruption. Second, in the present scenario, with regard to COVID-19 pandemic, the business and trade process may become slower as the whole of the nation is under lockdown. Though lockdown is, next week is started, getting unlocked. And third is sometimes administrative process with respect to grant of licenses, registration, etc. becomes very encumbersome. So these are the challenges. And as a lawyer, like what can I do? I really want to tell you, if in India, if you have a person who has a local knowledge, he can play a very, very important role. to really deliver a lot of good things. Like for example, when I am there, then there will not be any hassles as far as licenses are concerned. Registration of GST is concerned. In order to do, business in international business and trade in India, you have to part and parcel of Export Promote Council. And in order to do export and import in India, you have to take code, import and export code from the Reserve Bank of India. And there will not be any problem as far as I am there. So these are very, very important things. And most important thing I really want to emphasize that $1 is equivalent to 72 Indian rupees. 1 Canadian dollar is equivalent to approximately 60 Indian rupees, 60. And 1 euro is equivalent to 88 Indian rupees. So why I am emphasizing on that you are already 88 times, 60 times, and 72 times bigger. So India is a paradise. In doing foreign investment in India is, you are doing import and export in paradise environment. This is what I really want to say. I am having 30 years of litigation experience, will help in getting the foreigners all the permission required in the forms of licenses, registration, etc. to do business and trade and establish manufacturing units in India in every manner whatsoever. So there will not be any problem. So I am concluding that in view of the facts and circumstances mentioned by me, it is crystal clear that India is a huge and massive market to do business and trade and establishing manufacturing units for the foreigners, having a population of 1.38 billion. That is, I am underlining again and again. Even if you are manufacturing footwear, you can imagine 1.38 billion people. What a huge market. Furthermore, I have already told the value of US dollars. Moreover, there are many special economic zones especially created for the foreigner to do trade and business and also establish manufacturing unit in India. It is nowhere in the world except India. It is specifically emphasized that India laws are also very simple, especially for doing trade and business on behalf of the foreigners, individually as far as companies are also. In fact, India is a paradise for foreign investment in every manner whatsoever. So this is what I am saying, that presently, definitely after COVID time, India is a very, very important place to do business. Basically of some other reasons like, India and China both are in competition because both have very large population. But India has an edge over China. Definitely after COVID-19, I don't have to explain in many manners. Everybody knows. Second, India is an English-speaking nation. India has a cheap labor. India has a magnificent judicial system. And if you know a local person, a local lawyer, like I will be there will not be even a single person problem. And all the things can be done, all the setup can be done between 30 to 45 days. I am talking in an open forum. So India is a paradise. All people are welcome with the open arms. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. That was very good presentation about the one of the paradise in the world, and thank you so much. Once again, on behalf of the Canadian Institute for International Law Expertise, Cifile, I would like to thank all speakers and participants in this webinar. Great. It looks like we have covered most of the issue. Thank you, everyone. And I will appreciate you being here. And thank you for joining us. And we will see you later in our future webinar on international business law. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.